Hello, folks. Today is Friday, January 9th, 2026. As usual, my name is Jake Baldino. Happy 2026. Here to give you all the gaming news, things to get caught up on. And even though it's early in the year, there's already a lot to talk about. Check this out. This is a really cool looking game. This is a kind of post-apocalyptic cyberpunk style action adventure first person game called X-Killer or X-A-Killer. We've actually talked about this game quite a bit over the last few years in top 10 lists and stuff like that. It's been on our radar for a while just because of the cool visual style, the first person combat, and the kind of Blade Runner inspiration. The newer one, not the original one, but still, it's first person, kind of like cowboy western, post-apocalyptic action. You're driving around in a cool car, you're seemingly doing bounty hunts, and now we got a bigger look at the game with more gameplay and a good proper breakdown of it from the developers, and it certainly looks promising. Word on the street is this game is potentially very cool. I've even heard some people say that it just needs like a proper publisher with money to really get it across the finish line, but I think the visual style, everything they have going on here, the tech, also kind of like immersive sim elements like tackling objectives with action or stealth is really cool. This looks great. If you do want to check it out, it's linked in the description below, and please note that this does come from a game showcase we had this week revealing a bunch of new games and game news and stuff. It's the New Game Plus showcase, and if you haven't heard about it, it's because it's completely new this year, and it was actually put together by a bunch of content creators, which is pretty cool. People you might know like Jake Lucky, Luke Stevens, Blue Thunder, and I think they did a really good job with this. A really good first debut. A lot of stuff to actually talk about and break down. I also just like seeing content creators try something new. Unlike me, I've been doing the same thing here for over 10 years. Hey, so a lot of stuff came from this, so there's not enough time to break down everything. It was a 3.5 hour long presentation, but besides X-Killer or X-A-Killer, a couple of other things worth noting. The Blood of Dawnwalker got a new developer interview with one of the leads, little bits of information there, and ultimately, I still just really hope this game is cool. We do know it is coming this year, and it has a lot of promise. Also, this gorgeous looking competitive shooter called Beautiful Light. This is a PvPvE tactical first-person shooter. You're trying to extract this like artifact in this weird, creepy, hostile environment, maybe with some scientific anomalies going on, and it's going to be completely gear focused. And the gear that they showed looks pretty awesome, not to mention the visuals. Also, Distant Shore, which at first just kind of looks like another survival game, but it's actually more of this cool puzzle adventure game where you're making stuff, but you're also using technology and powers to solve problems and essentially get across this environment. It seems really creative, like stick with the trailer. Also, we got some updates on some bigger games, a bit of news on Grounded 2, as well as Avowed. We now know Avowed is getting a substantial, significant update that hopefully fixes some things and adds some cool things, and the game is coming to PS5. Smaller videos, but we got a little bit of an extra look at Atomic Heart 2 and the multiplayer Atomic Heart spinoff called The Cube. Also, an interview with Julian Garrity, one of the people behind The Division, and he talked a little bit about The Division 3, saying that work is progressing on it and that the game is going to be quote-unquote a monster, and kind of suggesting that the game may make as big of an impact as the first game. That remains to be seen. That's, of course, somebody working on the game. They're going to be happy and excited about it. So that's all we got. We don't have a look at The Division 3 yet, but it's nice to hear that it's moving along. Also, a developer interview and a new look at a little bit of Crimson Desert, which a lot of people are excited for. I'm really excited to see this one just because it is so ambitious, and thankfully that's releasing this year as well. But check this out. This is Forsaken Realms, Vahrin's Call. This is an RPG that is heavily inspired by things like Skyrim and more notably Fable, which is pretty cool. You can definitely tell from the visual style. It definitely feels like a real indie AA project, but definitely something promising and potentially good to keep on the radar. And that's what this whole showcase showed for me personally, was a lot of cool AA stuff, indie and AA stuff, where, you know, that's going to be the big thing probably moving into 2026, 2027. While there's the shadow of Grand Theft Auto 6, and then some games fumbling, some games doing well, like there's other creative stuff bubbling up, and I think this showcase is a really good example of that. But speaking of GTA 6, of course it wouldn't be a video if we didn't talk about this freaking game. So a lot of people thought that GTA 6 might be delayed again because of Bloomberg reporter and guy who breaks news and leaks and scoops and stuff like that, Jason Schreier, suggested that the game is quote unquote not complete yet. He said it's not content complete. We don't know that for sure. It was him talking on a podcast, and he said some things in the podcast that were like reported and quoted as him suggesting that the game could be delayed again. And yeah, it could be, lots of games get delayed, and Rockstar games get delayed all the time. But he did clarify and say that it was misunderstood, and he still thinks it's probably likely for the fall. But more interestingly enough from that, the more interesting quote is this one. This is from Button Mash, the Ringerverse podcast. He said, and I quote, "Wolverine is almost certainly going to come out in September or October. Xbox is almost a non-factor. I'm sure they'll sell millions of GTA 6 on Xbox, but PlayStation is the main platform. So it's almost, in some ways, it's kind of like a PlayStation exclusive, that most of the sales will be on PlayStation and it will sell a lot of PlayStation 5s alongside it. So I suspect that Sony is planning its entire calendar around GTA and will not release anything within the blast zone." I think that's smart. I think that makes sense. I don't expect like a big Sony first party game to be revealed and release anytime near or around when GTA 6 does. But the PlayStation exclusive kind of thing does make sense because I just really suspect Rockstar leaning into marketing deals and collaborations with PlayStation. You see it all the time with different games. Like, 1 year Call of Duty will do a lot of Xbox advertising. The next year they'll do a lot of PlayStation advertising. It happens with these big games, and it seems like GTA 6, according to what he's suggesting here, is going to be a big game on PlayStation either way. Right, now before we keep going, this video is sponsored by Raycon. If you don't know, Raycon offers dependable, affordable wireless audio, but no compromises, all the features you want. They have a lot of options, but check out the essential open earbuds. 2026, it's a new year, maybe it's a new you. These are great for workouts if you are the type of person going to the gym because they're easy to slip right on. They go right on, but the big thing is, right, they fit comfortably, but they sit kind of above your ear. So if regular earbuds don't work for you, maybe you just don't find them comfortable, it's also great because those can block out sound, where here you get great sound, but you can also hear what's coming. I wear these a lot of times when I'm outside, whether I'm going for a walk or working on yard work, like you can hear cars coming, you can hear the birds in the trees, and it makes quite a difference. That awareness is good, but also the fact that they are incredibly light and they just stay. They don't fall out. Plus 8 hours of playtime and 36-hour battery life with the charging carrying case. I charge these about like once a week or so. I've said it before, they make a great gift, but again, it's a new year. Maybe you want to give yourself a little something. It's worth checking out because they do offer a 30-day happiness guarantee. And with the new year, they're celebrating with a New Year's sale. All you got to do is click the link in the description down below or QR code on screen here. It's buyraycon.com/gameranxopen to get 20% off site-wide during their New Year's sale. Again, link in the description, QR code buyraycon.com/gameranxopen. Check it out. Happy 2026, and big thanks to Raycon for sponsoring this video. Also, CES went down this week. It's early January, so that means new technology, but also a lot of fantasy bullshit technology that we'll never actually see. One of the more interesting things that does actually look more realistic is this laptop, this gaming laptop from Lenovo. It's a Lenovo Legion Intel-based laptop with a rollable display. So it will be the size of a regular laptop, and then the screen will roll out or expand to an ultra-wide experience to the tune of something like over 22 inches. And that is insane and actually really cool from a gameplay standpoint, yes, but also just like if you're someone who works on a laptop, there's a lot of potential there. And that's really cool. The advertisement and like the images they've shown is really funny because it's like, imagine playing a game and your screen expands the size. The game, if you've played any game on PC, like the game would freak out and immediately crash. So good luck with expanding that thing while running a game. But overall, I do think this is a cool concept and not just like this like far-flung fantasy thing like we see at CES sometimes with the crazy shit that Razer shows off. But yeah, we'll see if this ever actually makes it to market. Speaking of Lenovo though, they did announce the Lenovo Legion Go 2 steamOS edition. Cool handheld, and also like one of my favorite operating systems or mobile operating systems ever. I love to see this. You're gonna have to pay a pretty penny for it, though. A lot of these handhelds are quite expensive, around the $1,000 mark. But yeah. Also this week, in terms of game releases, it is January 9th, so it's very early, right? So not too much. One thing worth noting though is Pathologic 3, psychological horror game, very like story focused game, very narrative driven, dialogue driven. It's weird. Also, these games are for a very specific type of player, a niche audience. But if you are one of those people, this one looked cool. I've been following the development and the release, like the images, like the visuals look really good. It definitely seems like it's got a lot more budget. The previous two games were very messy, but if you're in for a weirder experience, look into it. It just dropped. I haven't really seen any user reviews yet, but I'm curious to see how this one goes. Also, just some other cool games that got some gameplay trailers and were shown off this week outside of the New Game Plus showcase. This is separate. Check out this. This is a new reveal look at FPS Quest. This is a really cool concept. It's like if you were playing a first-person dungeon crawling fantasy RPG, but you're hacking the game. The game is centered specifically around like you trying to break the game and introduce bugs to the game and abuse the game without actually pushing it too far and crashing it. So like you're tweaking the game, you're changing the game, you're also introducing like guns and stuff. And I think it's a cool concept. Another game with a similar kind of game development flair to it is Game Settings that was shown off. This is a, quote, mystery-driven puzzle game, but it's centered around like you getting a handheld and you have to like mess with the settings and things don't really make sense and it kind of like can mess with the reality and perspective. And we've seen a lot of puzzle games really push things forward, but I'm curious to see how this does it in this like weird, quirky way. Also, check out Lane Split. This is really cool. This to me, it's a motorcycle first-person racing game, but to me it looks like vibes based, and it is very much centered around weaving in and out of traffic and getting into that kind of flow state. And the gameplay that they showed here is really cool. I don't know, this is like right up my alley. It just looks like relaxing, but also intense and stressful at the same time, if that makes sense for racing game people. Also, we got news that Xbox is announcing stuff. Xbox is putting on a developer showcase Thursday, January 22nd, and they've been upfront with what we're going to see. Take notes, we're going to see more of Beast of Reincarnation, that like action adventure RPG from Game Freak, of all people, the people behind Pokemon, you know. Then also we are going to get a new look from Playground Games at the next Forza Horizon game, which was previously teased to be taking place in Japan. And speaking of Playground Games, they've also been working on Fable for what feels like forever now, and they said that we're finally going to see a lot more of that game, and thank God. I have so many questions. I've been a diehard fan since the original Fable. I love Fable 1 and 2 so much. The original Fable is one of my favorite games, so I've been really looking forward to this, but also kind of worried, kind of not sure, so I'm really excited to actually see what the hell the deal is with this game. What type of game is it? You know, how it's going to play out. Do you create your own character? Is it story focused? Does it have freedom? All that stuff. Hopefully they answer some of those questions. But also, apparently there is going to be a fourth game announced. That's what I'm seeing right now from like rumors, and VGC is reporting that. We don't know what that game is going to be. There are suggestions. Some people have some ideas, but for now, I don't know what it's going to be. So that's the deal. Thursday, January 22nd, news from Fable, Forza, and that weird Game Freak game. I'm excited to see how it goes, and I'm happy to see that like Xbox, like with whatever we talk about hardware and platform and what they're doing, at least they're still committed to games right now. But also, speaking of committing to games, this is cool news. So rumors have been really bubbling up lately, suggesting that The Witcher 3 is going to get an update, like a new expansion, new content for a game that's pretty old now. And I think that's awesome. Apparently it is going to be a surprise expansion. This comes from like Polish securities analysts and like a game leaker that suggests that the separate team studio that is working on the Witcher 1 remake also has made some content within the world of The Witcher 3, and that's going to be released. I hope this is the case, because it's number one, it'll be cool to see a different studio's take on Witcher 3 stuff, and also because they're working on The Witcher 1, it's nice to know what's going on. But also two, I don't know, that could just hit. That could just feel good. I'm always happy to take any excuse to go back to The Witcher 3 and new content years later. It doesn't feel like a cash grab or them like dragging it out again. I just find that genuinely interesting. Maybe I'm off base. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I like The Witcher 3 too much, but yeah, definitely something. I hope this is real. Again, it's not confirmed or anything like that, but that for me would be just what the doctor ordered. But that is all the news I got for you this week. First official Friday show in January, I believe. So thank you for watching our stuff over the holiday break and stuff like that. We appreciate it. I am here every Friday to get you caught up on the news. Let us know what you think of the stories, right? The GTA 6 stuff, the New Game Plus showcase and what they showed. A lot of cool stuff. Any games catch your eye specifically, let us know, because then, we'll try and cover them more. But also in the comments section, the pinned comment, reply to that comment section and let us know what games you're currently playing for our research. It legit helps us. Thank you. But that's it. That's all I got. I've asked you guys enough other than clicking like. That's it. Thank you for being here. Have a great weekend. Be safe. I'm Jake Baldino. Pizza's on me. See ya.